Have you ever looked at your bank statement and wondered, where did all that money go? Maybe it's not just about the dollars and cents, but more about the quiet unease that creeps in, especially after 60, when you start thinking about the future. Not the distant, dreamy future we used to imagine in our younger years, but the real, practical one, the kind where your health, your independence, and yes, your finances start to matter more than ever. You've spent your life working, raising a family, making decisions day after day, but here's the truth that many folks don't talk about openly. Even the wisest, most experienced people can stumble financially in their golden years, not because they're careless, but because the rules change. What worked in your 40s doesn't always work in your 70s. And if nobody sits you down to have this conversation, well, the mistakes can cost more than money. They can cost peace of mind. So today, let's do what friends do, talk honestly. We're going to look at some of the worst financial mistakes seniors make, not to point fingers, but to shine a gentle light on the path ahead. This isn't about blame, it's about empowerment. Because the good news is, once you see the problem, you can fix it. And it's never too late to make changes that bring you security, confidence, and calm. Let's start with one of the most common and the most dangerous mistakes: underestimating how long you'll live. Now that may sound like an odd place to begin, but it matters a lot. You see, many people plan their retirement as if they're only going to live a few years past 65. But life expectancy has changed. These days, it's not unusual to live into your 80s or 90s, and many are pushing beyond even that. Which is beautiful, of course, but it also means your money needs to stretch further than you might have planned. Imagine this: you've carefully saved enough to cover 20 years of retirement, but what if you live for 30? That's 10 extra years of groceries, medicine, electricity, and, let's be real, fun. Because life isn't just about surviving, it's about living fully. But if your finances aren't prepared for longevity, those later years can become a source of stress instead of joy. The fix? It starts with awareness. Sit down and take a good look at your financial plan. Do you even have one? If not, it's time to create one. And if you do, ask yourself if it realistically accounts for another 25 to 30 years. This doesn't have to be overwhelming. You can speak with a trusted financial advisor or even start with a simple online calculator, but make sure your savings, investments, and spending habits are built to go the distance. The second mistake is one that hits a lot closer to the heart: giving away money you can't afford to lose. And it almost always comes from a place of love. Maybe you've helped a child or grandchild with rent, school fees, or medical bills. Maybe it was just a little here and a little there, and you didn't think twice. That's what families do, right? We help, we support, we give, even when it hurts a little. But the hard truth is, some seniors give away money they need for their own well-being, and sometimes they don't realize it until it's too late. Here's the thing: generosity is beautiful, but self-sacrifice that leaves you vulnerable, that's not fair to you. And in the long run, it's not fair to the people you love either, because when you're financially secure, you're less likely to need help yourself. And staying independent might just be the greatest gift you can offer. So before you reach for your wallet, next time someone asks for help, pause. Ask yourself, can I afford this without putting my own needs at risk? And if the answer is no, don't be afraid to say so, with kindness, with honesty. There are other ways to support loved ones: sharing time, advice, even helping them make better financial decisions of their own. But giving beyond your means, that's a mistake that can ripple through the rest of your life. Now let's talk about another subtle but serious trap: ignoring the impact of inflation. It's easy to overlook because it creeps in quietly. A carton of eggs that used to cost 60 rupees now costs 110. Electricity bills that used to feel manageable suddenly start to climb. And if your income is fixed, say from a pension or a set retirement account, those rising costs start to bite deeper every year. What many seniors don't realize is that inflation isn't just a news headline, it's a daily reality. If your money isn't growing, it's shrinking. That's why simply saving isn't enough anymore. You need your money to work, to grow, to keep pace with the world around you. This doesn't mean taking big risks or jumping into the stock market blindly, but it does mean looking at options that protect your savings from losing value. Things like conservative investments, high-interest savings accounts, or even small-scale real estate or business ventures, if done wisely, can offer the kind of growth that helps. You know, one of the beautiful things about getting older is the clarity it brings. You stop worrying so much about what people think and start paying attention to what truly matters: your health, your relationships, your sense of purpose. But even with that clarity, some things still manage to slip through the cracks, especially when it comes to money. Because the truth is, financial mistakes don't always look like mistakes at first. They often feel like kindness or routine, or simply doing what you've always done. And that leads us to another major pitfall many seniors face: hanging onto the family home when it no longer makes financial or practical sense. Now, don't get me wrong, a home is more than bricks and walls. It's memories, it's laughter in the kitchen, photos on the mantel, the scent of your favorite dish floating through the hallway. It's the echo of lives lived and stories told. Letting go of that is not easy. But sometimes what once gave comfort becomes a burden. Maybe the house is too big. The stairs get harder. The maintenance costs quietly drain your savings. Or perhaps you're living on a fixed income, and most of your wealth is tied up in the house, leaving you asset rich but cash poor. That's not just a clever phrase. It's a financial trap that can limit your freedom and peace of mind. The solution doesn't have to be painful. Downsizing doesn't mean downgrading your life. It can mean less stress, fewer expenses, and more freedom to travel, enjoy hobbies, or spend time with family. Some seniors even find that moving to a smaller space or a retirement community brings new friendships and a renewed sense of purpose. Others choose to rent out a part of their home or explore reverse mortgage options to create a better financial cushion, carefully, of course, and with expert advice. The key is not to let emotional attachment cloud your financial reality. Ask yourself, is my home still serving my life, or am I now serving my home? If it's the latter, it might be time to make a change that gives you more room to breathe, both emotionally and financially. And while we're on the subject of change, let's talk about something a bit more modern but no less dangerous: falling for financial scams. Yes, they're out there, more than ever, and they're getting smarter, disguising themselves as friendly voices on the phone, official-looking emails, or even sweet messages from strangers on social media. Scammers know that seniors are often more trusting and less likely to hang up or delete. They prey on loneliness, kindness, and that deep desire to help. Some promise you a prize. Others warn you about a fake problem. Your bank account's been hacked, or you owe taxes. They create fear, urgency, or excitement, all to get you to do one thing: send money or give out personal information. And here's what you need to remember: anyone who rushes you, pressures you, or makes you feel uneasy is a red flag. Real banks, real companies, and real government offices never demand instant payment over the phone or threaten you with jail time. They don't ask you to buy gift cards or wire money, and they certainly don't contact you out of the blue with life-changing offers. If something feels off, pause, hang up, delete, talk to a trusted family member or friend before taking any action. And don't be embarrassed. Scams are designed to fool smart people. They work not because you're not sharp, but because the people behind them are clever and manipulative. Being cautious doesn't make you rude, it makes you wise. Think of your personal information like your front door. You wouldn't just let a stranger walk in without asking questions. So treat your finances the same way. You've spent a lifetime building your security. Don't let a 5-minute phone call undo that. And speaking of the lifetime you've built, let's touch on one more truth that doesn't get talked about nearly enough: failing to plan for long-term care. Most people hope they won't need it. Some believe Medicare will handle everything, and others just avoid thinking about it because, well, it's uncomfortable. But here's the thing: statistics don't lie. A significant number of seniors will require some form of long-term care at some point. That might mean home assistance, a nursing facility, or help with daily tasks like bathing, dressing, or medication. And it's expensive. Shockingly expensive. Without a plan, those costs can eat through your savings at a rapid pace, leaving little behind for your spouse or family. Worse, it can create emotional strain when decisions must be made quickly in times of illness or crisis. The best time to plan is when you're still healthy, alert, and able to make informed choices. That might include looking into long-term care insurance, setting aside a dedicated savings fund, or talking to your family about your wishes and expectations. You might also explore Medicaid planning or speak with an elder law attorney to make sure your assets are protected. There's something powerful about reclaiming control. Not over everything, none of us can do that, but over the things that are within reach: your decisions, your habits, the way you protect what you've worked for. That's why these conversations matter, because when you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you're not at the end. You're at a new kind of beginning, a chapter where life slows down just enough for you to actually live it, but only if you've laid the groundwork to enjoy it without worry weighing you down. So let's talk about one last misstep, one that sneaks in quietly and often gets overlooked: not updating your estate plan, or not having one at all. It might sound like something only the very wealthy need to think about, but that couldn't be further from the truth. If you own anything at all, a car, a small savings account, a house, even just personal possessions that mean something to you, you have an estate. And without a plan in place, the law, not your heart, decides where everything goes when you're gone. And here's where it really matters. Estate planning isn't just about after, it's also about what if. What if you become ill or unable to make decisions? Who will step in? How will your medical care be handled? Will your finances be managed wisely? These questions can either be a clear, easy path or a maze of stress and confusion for your loved ones. Having a will is a good start, but it's not enough. A proper estate plan includes a power of attorney, a healthcare directive, and sometimes even a living trust, depending on your needs. And if you made a will 20 years ago and never looked at it again, chances are it's out of date. Maybe you've moved, lost someone you named, or simply changed your mind about who should receive what. Life changes, and so should your plans. Think of it this way: your estate plan is your final act of care for the people you love. It says, "I've thought about you. I've made it easier for you. I've given you clarity when you need it most." That's not just financial wisdom, it's emotional kindness. Now, after all this talk of mistakes, let's shift our focus. Because this isn't a story about what's gone wrong, it's a story about what can go right. Yes, it's true, many seniors make financial mistakes, but it's also true that many turn things around, even in their 70s and 80s. So how do you begin? Start by having honest conversations. Talk with your spouse, your adult children, or someone you trust. Open up the drawer where your financial documents are gathering dust. Ask yourself, do I understand where my money is? Do I know what it's doing? Am I protecting it for the long run? Then take one step, just one. Maybe it's booking an appointment with a financial advisor. Maybe it's finally reviewing that will you haven't looked at in years. Maybe it's saying no the next time someone asks for a loan you really can't afford to give. One decision made with clarity is better than 10 made in panic. And here's something else to remember. It's okay to ask for help. There's no shame in not knowing everything. In fact, real wisdom is knowing when to lean on others. Whether it's a family member who's good with numbers, a trusted advisor, or even community resources, there's support out there. You don't have to go it alone. You've spent decades working, saving, learning. You've raised children, fixed broken faucets, made tough calls, and walked through heartache and joy. You already have the strength. Now's the time to protect the life you've built. Let's quickly revisit the heart of what we've talked about, not as a checklist, but as a gentle reminder. Don't underestimate how long you'll live. Your retirement plan needs to match your real life, not just a date on a calendar. Give your future self the cushion and comfort you deserve. Be careful about giving too much money away. Love your family, yes, but love yourself enough to set boundaries. Your security helps everyone in the long run. Don't let inflation quietly eat away at your savings. Find ways to make your money grow, even modestly. Keep your finances active and alive. Be honest about your home. If it's become too much, financially or physically, consider a change that opens new doors instead of keeping you stuck. Stay sharp and cautious when it comes to scams. Protect your information the way you'd protect your home. Your wisdom is your greatest shield. And finally, create a plan for the end of your story. Not to dwell on loss, but to give peace and clarity to those you love most. None of these steps require perfection, just intention. Just the decision to say, I deserve peace, I deserve comfort, I deserve to feel secure. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed right now, take a breath. You don't have to do everything today. Just start. Open one envelope, make one phone call, share this video with someone you trust, and talk about it together. The power is in your hands, and that power is stronger than you think. There's something beautifully freeing about knowing you're not too late. That no matter what's happened in the past, no matter how many financial mistakes you've made, how many times you trusted the wrong person, or how often you told yourself, I'll deal with it later, you still have the power to make things better. This isn't just a message of hope. It's a truth that countless people your age have discovered. Some after a scare, some after losing a spouse, others after a simple moment of reflection, realizing they want the years ahead to be lighter, more stable, more joyful. And if that sounds like something you want too, then you're already halfway there. Because awareness is the first shift. The second is action. So what does taking action look like for you? Maybe it's making that call you've been putting off to your bank, your financial planner, or even to your children to have a serious conversation about money. Maybe it's going through your monthly expenses and asking yourself, do I still need this, or is this bringing me joy or just draining my wallet? Sometimes we spend out of habit, not need. That subscription you haven't used in 6 months, the extended cable package you only half watch, even the charitable donations you make automatically because you've always done it that way. None of these are bad in themselves, but if they're stretching your budget or giving you anxiety, they deserve another look. Taking action could also mean setting firmer boundaries with family, and I know that's a tough one. We want to help, especially when it's our kids or grandkids. We think, I'll just help them this once. But sometimes, once turns into 5 times and suddenly you're sacrificing your own comfort just to keep them afloat. And here's what I want to say clearly and without guilt. Your job is not to rescue everyone. Your job, especially now, is to make sure you're safe, stable, and supported. Because when you're okay, the people around you don't have to worry. And when you're not okay, that weight falls right back onto their shoulders. Taking care of yourself is one of the most generous things you can do for your family. Another powerful step you can take: keep learning. Keep asking questions. Keep showing up for conversations like this one. The world of finance can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Start small. Learn one new thing each week, whether it's understanding how compound interest works or figuring out what your credit report really says. It all adds up. And it gives you more confidence when making decisions. And speaking of decisions, don't rush them. If someone tells you something has to be done today, that's a sign to slow down. Pressure is the enemy of wise choices. Take your time. Get a second opinion. Sleep on it if you need to. Trust your instincts. They've carried you this far for a reason. And if you're someone who's made some of these mistakes already, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not a failure. Everyone makes mistakes with money. Everyone. What matters more is how you respond to those mistakes. Do you hide from them? Or do you face them with courage and curiosity? Because every step toward clarity is a victory. Sometimes fixing things means adjusting expectations. Maybe your retirement isn't as luxurious as you hoped. Maybe you've had to cut back or say no more often. That's okay. A good life isn't built on luxury. It's built on peace, on knowing your bills are paid, on waking up without a pit in your stomach, on having time to enjoy a cup of tea, take a walk, visit a friend. Financial health isn't about having more. It's about needing less, worrying less, and enjoying more of what truly matters. And if you're watching this and thinking about someone you care about, a spouse, a parent, a friend, maybe this is the moment to sit down and share this message with them. Let them know they're not alone. Let them know that change is possible at any age. And let them know that the best thing they can do is start right where they are, with what they have, and take the next small, brave step forward. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a deep breath together. Inhale, exhale. You've just spent time investing in your peace of mind. That alone is something to be proud of. You've listened, you've reflected, and now you have tools, real, actionable tools, to help you avoid the most common financial mistakes seniors face. And even more than that, you've gained something even more valuable: momentum. You're moving forward. You're thinking differently. You're choosing to protect your time, your energy, and your financial well-being. So keep going. Review your plans. Revisit your habits. Reimagine what your next chapter can look like. Lighter, freer, and more empowered than ever. And if this video helped you, even just a little, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. What spoke to you the most? What do you feel inspired to do next? I read every message, and your story might be